GM everyone, and welcome to Paradigm Shift Crypto video series. Today we're going to discuss about the most voted asset from you shifters, and that's going to be Ethereum. Obviously, we're going to start with the top-down analysis to determine the dominant trend and see what are going to be the expectations for Ethereum short to medium term. So without further ado, let's just jump straight to Ethereum's chart. And I want to start with something that caught my attention since I was studying the weekly chart, and something that can be very useful from now on. And it was kind of useful since I would say the bottoms in June 2022 in the bear market. So this parallel channel, although is not the most textbook one, let's just call it like this, I think it can paint a pretty interesting picture. And that would be with a bullish structure on higher timeframes of higher highs and higher lows. So we're going to start with the low from here, high, higher low, higher high, higher low, definitely another higher high here. However, here, as we can see, Ethereum buyers were not able to print another higher high and continue forward. What led to a potential double top, which we're going to explain in a few moments on the daily chart. But as we can see, buyers held the price above the previous highs from the bear market at 2,145 area. We can see that this was very important since we started actually the last bear market. We had almost a retest here, a rejection with no exception. And after that, and when it was accepted above this area, above 2,145, we can see that the buyers flipped this area from weekly resistance, sorry, to weekly support. And it was used as a ramp towards the next highs. Now, recently, on the drop on the 5th of August, we know all the equities and risk assets sold off on the carry trade unwinding. The sellers tried to push the price under. However, this served as a very strong support. And since then, we started building a base for Ethereum's next move. So on weekly, I noticed this sequence of higher highs and higher lows. And we had the confirmation of a bottom when sellers got exhausted, and between 2,145 and 2,850, which we saw on the previous rallies that it was a very important support which was flipped to resistance, they created a bottoming range, right? So between this area and this area right here. So on weekly, I would say that if we zoom out a little bit, which we don't do often on Twitter, do we? We can see that Ethereum, even with this kind of choppy price action and lagging price action, was still within an uptrend channel on the USDT pair. Very important to mention this. So this was on the weekly. On the daily chart, what I was noticing is that exactly like I was saying a few moments ago, since buyers didn't have the power in the spring of 2024, right, March, April, to print another higher high above this high from here, we entered somewhat of a topping formation. Actually, it was a topping formation with a double top, which looks almost like an M. From here, you can either, you could have either drew the neckline diagonal or a straight level like we had it, which was 2,850, the level that I mentioned before. And we can see that we had the first top, the second top, and after that, we had the break under this confluence of supports, which sent Ethereum towards 2,145 area. So this was a local top, very evident local top. However, since then, like I was mentioning on the weekly analysis, buyers and sellers started chopping around this area, and we printed what I think, and we had evidence already that this was the local bottom. So between 2,145 and 2,850 was the bottoming range, from which we broke out, I would say, on the 7th of November, when we recovered back above 2,850. As you can see from here, it was a very important area. We can find even a diagonal line, right? A trend line. I don't like so much trend lines because I think they can be drawn with a lot of bias. However, I like levels and I like market structure. Once I saw that we had acceptance above 2,850 and we had this break, kind of a retest and a rally higher, for me, it was a clear sign that we left behind this lower highs and lower lows structure. We left behind this accumulation range from which we saw the first upthirst, right? And right now, even with the latest moves on daily, because as you can see, we were not able with Ethereum to break above 3,500, 3,530 area, we found some support between 3,000 and 3,100. So this was the first confirmation when we had the break, retest, and continuation higher, basically having a change of structure, change of character, and leaving behind the local bottoms, and from which we can print a potential next move higher towards 3,500, 3,970, and why not to the all-time highs, which we're going to discuss about in a few moments. Now, I was looking a bit on chart on daily, and I was looking that I found a very interesting pattern, which locally, right after this first initial rally, we started correcting, and we had the lower high, lower low type of structure with the high, the low, lower high, and we actually don't have the lower lows. Already from here, we can see that the sellers were losing juice. And intraday, so on the 4 hours chart, we can see that we have a falling wedge, which is usually a reversal pattern, a reversal intraday. So after the initial thrust higher and after quite a rally, if you think about it, right? Let's say 42% rally from the lows on Ethereum is not something to frown about. And after a 42% rally, we had a 12-13% pullback, which is in the norm. Now, like I said on intraday, I noticed this falling wedge pattern. And if we do a simple calculation, that would be a 10%. Above these breaks, let's say what would be a 10% move, it would actually send it back towards the recent highs, and why not above 3,500 area. I know that Ethereum is kind of lagging, not kind of, a lot lagging. It's lagging against a lot of other altcoins, especially against Solana. I know that it's getting a lot of hate. However, like Bitcoin, but to a way smaller scale, also Ethereum can surprise people, both to the downside in a bear market, but also to the upside in a bull run. I saw this before in also the other cycle, when everybody was giving up on Ethereum, when everybody was saying nasty things about Ethereum. That was the moment when the timeline on Twitter and other social media platforms was very gray and doomy regarding Ethereum. Then were the moments when Ethereum was really rallying. So the way I was looking at from weekly to daily and now intraday and 4 hours, I think that if this pattern holds and the recent lows, like I said, from 3,000 up to 3,900 and 3,095 will hold as local support, we might see a nice upthirst. And the first place where I want to see Ethereum breaking above would be around 3,200 area. And I think once we're going to clear this previous lower high in the intraday structure, high, low, lower high, not a lower low. So this was already an indication for me that the sellers are running out of juice. So, and after that, we had the lower high from here. If we can clear this this lower high and have a daily close above 3,200, and after that can go above 3,330, I think it's very clear for me that 3,500 is next. Now we can go back on the daily chart and we can attack other bigger areas from daily. Flipping 3,500 from weekly resistance to weekly support opens up 3,170 or 4,000 area. And after that, the clear all-time high, which will be around 4,900 to 5,000. I think that the local bottoms are in for Ethereum. However, we might still see a little bit of choppiness because we are still in Bitcoin season, my dear shifters and followers, and everybody who will watch this video. We are still in Bitcoin season, and we have a bit of sprinkles of meme coins, right, here and there. So a lot of attention right now is towards Bitcoin. However, once Bitcoin is going to break above 100K, which I think is going to be sooner rather than later, and Bitcoin is going to start distributing a bit locally and go in a range, which most likely will happen, I think that a lot of some sort of the attention or mind share will move towards Ethereum. It happened before. I don't think that human nature changes. I think that the same things that play out before are still going to unfold now, of course, with some particular differences for this cycle, like it happened in all the other cycles. However, I think that sooner rather than later, we're also going to have a break of this intraday structure of Ethereum. And once I'm going to see Ethereum above 3,200 area, I'll also have enough confirmation actually that the recent pullback is over, and I'm going to open longs towards 3,300, 3,500. And based on the price action that I'm going to have, I'll see how much I'm going to hold those trades. I hope this was informative, and don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and see you on the next one. Bye, shifters.